Good morning. We're going to do a meditation today. This is for grounding, getting our bodies settled, getting our energy grounded down into ourselves. A lot of the times with anxiety, with stress, with daily life, we forget to connect back with our bodies, with our own emotions, and with everything that's going on inside of us. So this is a meditation to help us do that, to get us back into the body, back into ourselves, in touch with ourselves. So we'll do that through guided visualization. So go ahead and find a comfortable seat, a comfortable laying position, whatever is best for you. And we'll go ahead and get started. The main thing for this meditation is we're going to start with concentrating on our hips and basically imagining that we can connect directly with the earth in a way that makes this kind of bond, or this kind of connection between you and the earth, so that your body doesn't feel like it's all alone, floating in this world. Instead, we can have this kind of tether, this anchor with the earth, so that we have a powerful connection, a powerful ally with the earth. It can also become a way of connecting with something greater than us, greater than our bodies, that allows for things to be recycled, things to be cleared out, so that we don't have to hold on to everything. We don't have to hold on to the emotions, to those interactions with neighbors, friends, family, partners, whoever. And so that things can just go down into the earth and be recycled. We don't have to worry about how that energy is returned to people or to the right places. We can just simply let it go to the earth and let her do the job for us. So go ahead and find your comfortable sitting position, or if you're laying down, and go ahead and find a way of connecting your pelvis with the earth. And this can look a lot of different ways. The most common way I like to work with people is with a beam of light. So go ahead and imagine from about the width of your hips, at about the level of your hips, letting there be a beam of light that goes down into the earth, straight down, just like a slinky, just letting things go straight down, no effort. You know, just how you hold one side of the slinky and the rest of it just falls all the way down. It's just like that. So we can let this beam of light start from our hips and go all the way down, past the floor you're sitting on, past the earth, all the way down through all the layers of the earth till it reaches to the center of the earth. And you don't have to visualize it going all the way down, but just intending for us to have this connection with a very deep and still and quiet part of the earth. Good. Good. So this is the intention of connecting our bodies, ever moving, ever changing, with something that's still, something that's calm inside of the earth. And what better place than the very center of it, so we're never have to worry about exactly where it is, but intending that we have that strong connection. Good. So letting your whole body now just feel the difference between when you started and feeling maybe there's a bit more of a groundedness, maybe things are starting to pull down in a heavy, comfortable sort of way. So this is the basis of grounding, meaning connecting our bodies to the earth. So we'll go ahead and bring, again, our awareness from our hips to the bottom of the floor, to the further into the earth, all the way down to the center of the earth. Do this with other visuals. I like to use a beam of light, like a white light or even a golden light, from my hips down to the center of the earth. You can also use things like a waterfall of gold, or waterfall of light, or simply water. Sometimes just the flowing of water's nature of easily flowing down is helpful. You can also connect with the earth through the vision of a tree and its roots and all of its, one main taproot going down to the center, and all the other roots spreading on the sides so that it has an access point to ground deeper and wider, and increasing the stillness in the body through this connection with the earth. Good. So you can play around with the image. For now, I'll continue with the beam of light. So letting, again, just to train this sense of grounding, just imagining from the hips all the way down to the center of the earth with no effort, just intending for there to be a strong connection between you and the earth in a place that's deep, that's still, that's nourishing. Good. Good. And so from here we can allow for anything from the day, from the week, just like a recycling chute or something. We have this connection and it's grounding and anchoring us, but we can also just let things slide into the earth from our bodies. So any stress, any pressure, any sense of any kind of anxiety can go straight into the earth. There's no reason to hold on to it. So if it's ready to let go, you can let it go into the earth to recycle. No problem. Good. Notice any changes in your body as you do that. You might feel like there's more lightness in the body, a little brightness in your spirit, just a bit of a change. And if there's no change, that's also fine. We're just letting go of any excess thought, any excess worry, all the way down to the center of the earth. Good. Good. So we have our grounding, our body connected to the earth, to something greater that can receive a lot of these negativities and difficulties, just any kind of problem that we want to let go, we can give to the earth, and she'll gladly take it. Good. The other thing we can do is we can connect with our feet to the earth. The first thing we'll do is imagining, just like if you take a sphere of light between your hands and making it a little bit smaller, maybe like a tennis ball or softball size, something that you can fit between your hands comfortably, and imagining this size of a sphere of light, placing it at the bottom of a foot, maybe say the left foot first. So just gently imagining either that the light appears, the sphere of light appears at the bottom of the left foot, or that you gently form it and you gently place it down and set it inside, or actually on top of the sole of the foot, or like you're stepping on it. So just letting that be present, and it's this light that's gold. I like to work with golden light, so this light that's gold, it's warm, it's activating. It's like when you have a sunbeam right on the right spot on your foot. It can start to warm up that area, but also it starts to loosen all of the tissues of the foot itself, all of the fascial layers, all of the different parts of the skin and muscles, and the intricate connections between the ligaments and the tendons, and just letting everything start to soften as this golden light interacts and awakens the foot. Good. I can do the same thing with the other side, with the right foot. Again, forming another sphere, maybe a little smaller, maybe like a tennis ball size or a golf ball size. Depending, you can play with the size too. But just making that sphere at the bottom of the foot, right behind the ball of the foot, is the best place for it. And just letting that sphere, however you imagine it, letting it interact with the bottom of the right foot, letting it awaken the foot, almost like sunlight hitting it, softening, awakening, lengthening any places that have been maybe stuck, or any places that there's tension, just letting the tension relieve and release. Good. And at the bottom of the feet, right behind the ball of the foot, there's an important acupuncture point that basically is a strong connection point between us and the earth. So by awakening this area with this visual this visual cue, with this visualization, we can help access even more grounding, more connection with the earth. Good. So just notice how your feet feel now. They might feel warmer or tingly. For me, it feels like this, almost like a bubbling, kind of moving feeling around the ball of the foot. And if you don't feel anything, that's also fine. What matters is that you have this, we're establishing this habit, this awareness that this point exists, that this ability to open up our feet, to awaken them exists. So we're just exploring sensation, change in the body as we open the bottom of the foot here. Good. So this is the second step of connecting with the earth, with grounding more powerfully. So now that we can feel this change in the feet, so we have our grounding cord, this connection between ourselves and the earth, we can call that a grounding cord. We have this grounding cord grounding us to the earth, letting us release things, letting us connect with the earth in a deeper way. We have this golden light opening up our feet, awakening up the feet so that they're active and aware. And now we can do one other thing to connect with the earth deeply, and that's bringing in energy from deep within the earth, almost like a reservoir, like a deep reservoir of rest, of nourishment, of nature holding us, of nature being there for us. And this can come with a lot of different colors. I like to start with like an emerald green, very rich, kind of like an Irish field, or maybe like, just really verdant pasture, very soothing, calming. That's usually the first color I like to play with. If you prefer maybe more along the line of blues, like ocean blue is a nice color, or maybe something like the reds that you find in Sedona, that kind of enlivening reddish earthy colors. For all these colors though, it's good to imagine like watercolors. So they're see-through, you can see through them, they're translucent, they're not opaque, they're translucent, and at the same time they have a vibrancy and life to them. So let's start with the green, just to make it a little easier. So imagining that deep within the earth, there's this pocket of energy just for you, this pocket of energy that's green, that's vital, that's rejuvenating, regenerating. And now just by intention, just by us imagining it, we can bring in that type of energy, that type of awareness of that energy entering through our feet. Now that they're open and awake, we can bring in that new energy through the feet, through the balls of the feet, through the ankles, through the shins and the calves, the lower leg, up to the knees, up to the hips, the upper legs and the hips, almost like a stream of water that flows up from a spring within the feet, coming up, and just the energy streaming through the legs, letting the energy go as it wants to. It's almost like we have a stream, and there can be sediment, there can be little pebbles that are ready to go, meaning tensions or worries that we hold in our body, in this case in our legs. We can just let that stream of energy go through our legs, through our different joints, and the ankles, the knees, the hips, and just kind of graze any place that is ready to let go. And now all that energy coming together up to the hips can go down through the grounding cord, down this connection we made with the earth at the beginning, so that anything that's ready to go, any sort of tensions, stories, worries that have been stored in the lower body, can just simply go down into the earth to be recycled. Good. So we have this connection forming, this kind of loop of energy going down into the earth, old things going into the earth, and we can intentionally bring in new goodness, new things, new nourishment that we want to work with, that we want to invite into our lives. So we're consciously bringing in this flavor of earth energy that will nourish us, that will help us. And because we have some influx, we can also have an output of old energy straight to the earth. No worries about where to go, where it has to be recycled. Good. Just taking a moment to notice what that stream of energy, what that emerald green energy feels like through the legs. If it feels like a certain sensation, it can feel warm, tingling, it can feel like movement, it can feel buzzing. It can also just be visual, or you could even maybe imagine as if you could hear the water moving through the legs. People perceive energy through different ways, so just letting yourself feel and explore what that means for you. Good, so now we have this kind of pathway established from the earth, deep from within the earth, through our legs, and from our bodies down into the earth again to recycle. So now that we have cleared away some of the excess tension in our legs, we can also just bring in the energy from the earth with the intention to kind of fill in any places that need nourishment, any places that need extra support. And so we can bring in that emerald green through the lower legs, through the upper leg, in through the hips, and just a little bit above the hips, kind of filling the pelvis, the whole pelvis like a bowl, going up to the lower abdomen, just to about where the navel is. So you're kind of filling in the whole lower body. The whole lower body has a strong resonance with the earth, so we have this way of fulfilling that resonance of supporting the lower body by inviting the earth and its intelligence, its energy, up through our bodies, filling them in, and letting the whole lower body be nourished. And then at the end, as everything gets filled in the lower body, then we can let go of anything that you're done with through the grounding cord. So it becomes this almost like a fountain of energy coming up from the earth, filling in. And once everything is filled in, the tide recedes and energy goes into the earth, but through a different opening. So we have this opening feeding our bodies, and then anything that you're done with going down through the earth, into the earth, through your grounding cord. Noticing also how the breath changes with all of this. I find that as we do this type of visualization, the breath has a way of finding new ways to kind of expand, for example, the lower abdomen, or just reaching the legs, and that can feel like different sensations, kind of a buzzing or a warming, or simply like a movement. Again, if you don't feel that right away, that's completely normal and fine, and it's just something to pay attention to, depending on your relationship with your body and your breath. Some people will find that there's that sort of sensation, and just paying attention to that can also bring this dimension of awakening, of aliveness in the body. Good. So just to go over once more, we have grounding, letting our bodies connect down with the earth, all the way deep down to the center of the earth with no effort. We have open feet, open through this visualization of the golden light, this sphere of gold that warms and activates and enlivens the feet, especially at the soles, especially behind the foot of behind the ball of the foot. And we have this new energy from the earth. You can imagine it coming from this deep source of wisdom, of peace, of nourishing intention from the earth, and letting that come through as a color like an emerald green up through the legs, filling in the whole area of the legs, the lower legs, all of the joints, the knees, the ankles, the hips, and letting the lower body become enlivened with that new energy. Just sit here feeling this new cycle of energy from the earth, up the legs, to the hips, down back into the earth. Just notice how the legs feel, how your whole body responds, how your mind responds. You might feel more relaxed, more at ease, able to let go of any sort of worries from earlier in the day, earlier in the week. Good. Noticing your breath, how that feels, if there's any change in its rhythm, where it's able to reach within your body. Connection to the earth, and just you can stay in this space as long as you'd like. If you have other things to do after this that are more active, I like to intend for the grounding cord, instead of being as thick and solid as a tree and its roots, you can imagine it being a little bit more bouncy, more agile, so that if you're continuing on with your day, you can still continue with this energy of the earth supporting you and your energy anchoring into the earth, but there's a bit more of like a ease and play with how that happens. Good. So especially when you have a chance to rest, maybe as you're waking up or before you go to bed, and those times in between times, it's a great time to do this. And I hope this meditation helps, and let me know how it goes. Thank you. See you later.